As an Australian that likes geography, I was curious to learn about the NFL divisions when learning about the NFL, and I just thought they were really weird. As a fan of Australian rules football, the concept of divisions and conferences seem really odd to me, but that's not the point. The point is, I just can't understand why some of these divisions exist the way they do. For instance, the NFC East with the Dallas Cowboys a long way from its divisional rivals, and likewise for the Miami Dolphins to its rivals. The fact that three Florida teams all play in different divisions seems absurd to me, and because of this, I thought it was time to create new divisions that actually make sense. Of course, this will probably never happen. Before you attack me, this is all just for fun. That being said, the criteria I followed are that it must make geographic sense while also trying to maintain or create some rivalries. So, as you can see, I've drawn out what I think these new divisions should be. I've disregarded the current NFC AFC conferences and just grouped teams together geographically where they're closer. I'll discuss more in detail. First up, we have the new AFC East, which consists of the Bills, Patriots, Giants, and Jets. The asterisk indicates a change to the division, and here you can see I've put an asterisk where the Giants are. This now sees the Giants and Jets in the same division. I thought this made sense considering they actually play in the same stadium, and it might create a stronger rivalry between the New York teams, as well as the other teams that already consisted of the division. Next, we have the new NFC East, which consists of the Ravens, Eagles, Steelers, and Commanders, which is a terrible name by the way. Anyway, this division sees the Pennsylvania teams play in the same division, as well as the Ravens and Commanders, which are not far geographically from each other. We now head to the AFC North, which, keep in mind, isn't really north considering Tennessee is actually a part of the South, so you can just ignore the north part. However, it just made sense to put them in this division. So anyway, we have the Bengals, Browns, Colts, and Titans. We now see the Colts play against teams such as the Browns and Bengals that are actually geographically close to Indianapolis, while the Browns and Bengals still get to battle it out for Ohio supremacy. Moving on to the NFC North, which is the only division that remains the same. The Bears, Lions, Packers, and Vikings all remain, and it seems to be rare that a division actually has teams from cities that are reasonably close to one another without some strange outlier. We now head to the AFC South, which is basically Florida plus the Carolina Panthers. We finally see the Jaguars, Dolphins, and Buccaneers all in the same division. While I considered adding Atlanta as the fourth city, I went with Carolina so I could add Atlanta into our next division. This next division is the NFC South, which comprises of the Atlanta Falcons, as well as the Cowboys, Texans, and Saints. Now I like this division since Dallas is playing teams that are actually close by, which includes Houston, and sees the potential for a Battle of Texas rivalry forming, as well as strengthening a rivalry with the New Orleans Saints. The Saints and Falcons keep their strong rivalry, and although I almost considered putting the Titans in this division instead, if I went with that I would have had to put the Panthers in the AFC North, and that just felt weird. So I went with this instead so the Saints and Falcons could continue their rivalry. Now we head over to the West, which we firstly have the AFC West, which is the same as before, except I added the Cardinals instead of the Chargers. Now I considered leaving these Western divisions the same, since rivalries seem to be fairly strong, but for geographic reasons, Arizona is closer to the other teams in this division than what Los Angeles is. Lastly, we have the NFC West, which, like I said before, includes the Chargers and sees a battle of LA between the Chargers and Rams. We now have a purely West Coast division with the San Francisco 49ers and Seattle Seahawks, who are also based on the coast, if you count Seattle as a coastal city. Well, that concludes things, and we have now gone from this to this, which looks much cleaner. Obviously, this would never happen, and this is really just a suggestion from an ignorant outsider, but I like these new divisions. Let me know what you think in the comments.